Now question 4, I believe that this is actually the last question in this paper, but we never know. So there are 7 structural isomers. So they have the same molecular formula, but different structural formula. They have 5 carbon, C5H10O. They are carbonyl compounds. So they contain carbon-oxygen double bond. And of course, under the carbonyl compound chemistry, you have learned about aldehydes. If 4 of them are aldehydes, then the rest must be, the other 3 must be ketone. Because, as you know, ketones and aldehydes, they are in the same topic. When they have the same formula, that is because ketone and aldehydes are what you call functional group isomers. And functional group isomers come under the branches of structural isomerism. Now, what is so special about this for aldehyde? Aldehyde A has a straight chain. So, 5 carbon straight chain. They want you to give the structure of each of the 4 isomers. They did not mention about display, skeletal or structural. So that means you can draw either of those displayed, structural or skeletal. Being me, if you have watched my other organic chemistry lecture, you would know that I'm a big proponent of learning about skeletal formula because it's the fastest of all. Doesn't mean that I'm a one-tailed pony. I do know about other formula representation as well. So this is 4 carbon so far. I have 5 carbon. The biggest danger when you draw skeletal formula is you forgot to count. And when you forgot to count, you forgot to check. We don't show the hydrogen bonded to the carbon in a skeletal formula. This is CH3, CH2, 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 CHO. It's a 5 carbon aldehyde. This is what you call pentanal. Now, they are not looking for the name, so you can't give the name. You will not get any mark. They didn't ask you whether it's skeletal or structural. Both of these will have gotten you the mark there. It's a straight chain. This is the simplest aldehyde 5 carbon you can have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C5. And then in terms of hydrogen, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 1 oxygen. So the molecular formula of these structural isomers will be the same, but they have different structural isomers. Now, B, C, and D are branch isomers, but aldehyde B is the only one that has a chiral center, and therefore you have optical isomers that can rotate plane polarized light in opposite directions. They are mirror images of each other. You cannot superimpose them on each other. The only thing that you can tell apart the difference would be by using plane polarized light that have opposite optical activity. Plane polarized light, something to do with light. That's why the name is called optical, because they rotate the plane polarized light in opposite direction. All their melting, boiling, solubility, whatever other physical properties and chemical properties will be exactly the same. So I'm just going to draw my aldehyde. So this is my CHO group, and then I have a CH3, and then I have a CH2, CH3, and then I have a hydrogen. So I don't show my hydrogen bonded to the carbon. Let me see and count my carbon and if it's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 carbon there. 5 carbon aldehyde because CHO there. And of course, I need to find my longest chain carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But the important carbon is actually the aldehyde. So this cannot be 1. So I have to do 1. And it so happened that 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the longest chain carbon because 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 carbons, longest chain carbons. So this is what you call butanal. But then this one has a branch. It has a CH3 branch at position 2. This is called 2-methyl butanal. But again, the name is not required in the question. If you give the name, you will not get any mark. They want the structure. So I maintain my structure. I maintain my skeletal formula. And I'll just draw it like that. In fact, you can draw it a bit better than what I've drawn here probably. You can draw it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at position 2, you have a branch like that. So that would be okay as well rather than this. But I just wanted to show you from this chiral center that I have 1 carbon, 2 carbon, aldehyde carbon, and then a hydrogen there. In terms of the structural formula, follow the structure. Even though this is my important carbon there, so I know it will have CHO at the end. I'm going to start from the 4 there. So perhaps I actually draw it a bit better. Let me just remove that. I will just draw it using this one. And then let me just give you a number, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be CH3, CH2, CH, carbon form 4 bond, 1, 2, 3. There is one hydrogen there. So there is a CH3 in a branch, and then CHO. Structural formula, skeletal formula, both of them are okay. You don't need both of them, you just need one of them. You don't need the name, but then of course you should know how to name them. All right. Now, aldehyde C has 2 methyl group in its structure. D has 3. So 3 what? 3 times CH3. So aldehyde D, I have aldehyde. So I cannot have the methyl there. It must be there. I have 3 methyl. 1, 2, 3. Aldehyde C only has 2 methyl. So 1, 2. Like that. Because this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. Am I doing the right stuff? Not really. There are 3 methyl there, so I'm still doing the wrong stuff. This is wrong. Well, I'm sure about D. D is definitely correct. This is 1, 2, and 3. As you could tell, this is propanol, but it's got 2 of that CH3. Both of them is at position 2. So it's 2,2-dimethyl propanol. In terms of the skeletal formula, that is correct. In terms of the structural formula, so CH3 is this carbon here. Carbon from 4 bond, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is no more hydrogen there. So I'll just draw the branch, CH3, another bracket for the other branch, and then CHO. So both of these skeletal and structural formula, either of them will be acceptable. You don't need the name. I've just done the naming as sort of like practice and recap and stuff. So I still haven't gotten C yet. C has got 2 methyl group in its structure. So based on all of these, what am I doing really? Like that, maybe? Like that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is exactly the same as that. So I don't want that. But I can move my methyl from position 2 to position 3. So I can have like that. So rather than at position 2, I have my methyl at position 3. So what I get is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I get a CH3, CH bracket CH3, CH2, CHO. So follow the thing here. CH3, CH, carbon from 4 bond, there is one hydrogen there. This is the branch in a bracket, CH2, CHO. In terms of naming, you will see that these and these 2, they are what you call position isomer because I've just moved the methyl group from position 2 to position 3. This is going to be butanol. It's 3 methyl butanol. This is 2 methyl butanol. Position isomers there. Okay. Now draw the 3-dimensional structures for the 2 optical isomers of B. So what I do is I draw the tetrahedral shape first. So make sure you know how to draw the tetrahedral geometry because you have to show geometry, 3-dimensional. If you don't show the 3-dimensional shape, you're not going to get the full mark for this question. So be very careful there. So give or take around 109.5. Make sure it's not 90 degree. And mirror images of each other. So this is like the imaginary mirror there. And whatever is going from that to that end, so it will be that to that end. So here will be projected onto here. We're looking at isomer number B. So we have a CH2, CH3, a CH3, a hydrogen, and a CHO. The easiest thing I can think about is put the CH2, CH3, the long group, I just put it on top. Some students thought that, okay, I must have mirror image, then they write CH2, CH3. Well, this is a single bond, so you can rotate about freely in a single bond. It wouldn't matter whether you write CH2, CH3, going that way, because you can rotate about the single bond easily, and CH2, CH3 here is the same as that. I know I said mirror image, but that's why I put it on the very top there, because it's very easy to just write this at the very top there, rather than on the other side where it becomes a bit cumbersome. I also have a CH3. So this CH3 is easy to write, so I'll just write it there. I also have a hydrogen. This is probably the easiest one to write. Now actually there's another one which is easier to write, the CHO. The CHO is the aldehyde. So CHO, that's easy to write. So CHO, make sure you go inverted that way. CHO aldehyde, CHO aldehyde. You have one hydrogen. on that carbon. That chiral carbon there has got one hydrogen, it's got a CH3, a CH2CH3, and a CHO. This is your chiral carbon, non-superimposable mirror images, chiral carbon because the carbon is bonded to 4 different groups of atoms there. Okay, for that 2 marks. Now the next bit, describe a chemical test. So this is describe a chemical test. You need to distinguish, you need to tell apart the difference. My handwriting is pretty bad there. So tell apart between any of the 4 isomers A to D and any of the other 3 structural isomers. So these must be ketones, which I mentioned, because A to D, they are aldehydes. So a chemical test, so that is 1. And in your answer, you should describe any reagents and conditions, as well as explaining what you will see in each case. Well, the simplest reagent I can think of is add 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. Some students are petrified by this spelling here because it looks really, really long. But if you have done some A2 benzene chemistry, you know this is a phenyl, and then you have hydrazine. So hydrazine is basically NH2NH2, where you replace one of the H with a phenyl. And then you have a nitro, which is NO2 at position 2, as well as position 4. You get 2,4-DNPH. And when you add it with A to D, which is aldehyde, and also ketones, and I am wrong because both of them, this will give you orange PPT, orange precipitate. This will also give you orange PPT. So this is a wrong test because they want to tell apart. So this is not suitable at all. I am not going to use that. So I've just wasted my time. I've just wasted your time, but no worries because you can see the positive result for both aldehyde and ketones. They're not going to tell you apart the difference. So what do we need then? We need to use Tollens. Tollens reagent or Fehling's reagent, that is a specific test for aldehyde. So Tollens reagent is colorless. It basically contains silver with 2 ammonia. This is a plus there. And this is aqueous, colorless, and you will get a silver mirror forming. A silver mirror will form for the aldehyde as the silver plus 1 get reduced to silver 0, and the aldehyde will get oxidized. Whereas for the ketones, you will get, solution remain colorless. The solution remains colorless because your Tollens reagent is basically colorless to begin with. So I'm going to remove that 2,4-DNPH thing because that was obviously wrong concept, wrong chemistry. I don't want to be teaching wrong chemistry to you, so hopefully you will forgive me there. All right. So there is actually another choices. So use Tollens reagent and heat. You need to heat gently as well. So there's the conditions. Or you can use the other one. Use Fehling's reagent. So Fehling's reagent is more like Benedict's solution that you use to test for reducing sugar, but we don't call it Benedict's solution in chemistry. Instead, we know that it contains some sort of copper 2 plus aqueous plus something something, and you need to heat it. That's part of the conditions. So what you get then with the aldehyde is you will get a red-brown precipitate, a red-brown solid, which is copper 1 oxide, copper plus 1, you need 2 of them to balance out the charge of the oxygen. And you get that with aldehyde because it can be oxidized. But then here, with ketones, the solution remains blue. So they say, describe a chemical test. How can you tell apart? You should describe any reagent condition, explaining what you would see. So in terms of explanations, aldehyde can be oxidized further. Aldehydes can be oxidized further. Ketones cannot. Ketones cannot, or ketones can't be oxidized further. Ketones can't be oxidized further. Hopefully that makes sense to you. That is in terms of explanation. And in terms of the observation, I have listed one for Tollens and one for Fehling's. In reality, you just need one chemical test. So it's all either or of these, but the observation remains very important. People thought that everything is just colorless, but when you just contain copper 2 plus, that's just going to remain blue without any redox reaction happening. That is colorless solution. It just remains colorless without any redox happening. Here, there is some sort of redox happening. Copper plus 2 become copper plus 1, silver plus 1 becomes silver 0 as the aldehyde get oxidized in both cases by both of these reagent there. Anyway, remember what I said earlier about the 2,4-DNPH? Now a test that will give the same result with all of them. So basically they have ketones or aldehyde. They have the CO carbonyl group. So add 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. So just to remind yourself that what does it look like? Well, hydrazine is NH2NH2. They use it as a rocket fuel. I'm going to remove one of the hydrogen and then change it with a benzene ring. And then I have a NO2 at position 2 and also at position 4. So that is 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine. That is the test. Now the observations is all 7 isomers, all 7 structural isomers will form or will give an orange PPT. Oh, hang on, you cannot write PPT in a theory paper because you're not in practical paper. You can say form orange crystals or orange precipitate. That is going to be positive because you have the CO aldehydes and ketones, and you can only tell them apart if you use toluenes or phthalings. They are very specific to the oxidation of aldehyde, which ketones cannot be oxidized further. But when you do those reactions with aldehydes or ketones, you are not exactly doing redox chemistry. Let me just show you one with the ketone. So for instance, if I have that ketone, what actually happened is you get a condensation reaction. This is as stated in the Cambridge syllabus, condensation reaction. And a Cambridge endorsed textbook will show you what actually happened there. You will lose the H there. You will lose the O there. You will also lose this H there. So what actually happened is, well, the rest of the molecule doesn't change that much. I'm going to copy paste that. I'm going to lose the 2 hydrogen. And now it is going to be bonded in place of the carbonyl. Instead of the oxygen, it's now double bond to the carbon there. And I have R and R dash, and I get water. Condensation reactions, the 2 molecules come together and kick out a small molecule. In this case, it kick out water. If this is H there, meaning CHO aldehyde, then you just get one of them being H and one of them being the alkyl group. Okay, that's the end of the 11-mark questions, the end of this paper as well. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the button on the bottom right to subscribe to my channel. Follow me at ptet.chemistry on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram to get connected. And all these yearly paper tutorials, the full yearly paper tutorials, they're only available to the silver tier members on my channel. So it doesn't cost that much. Buy me a cup of coffee, will you? And continue supporting my work on the channel and share the channels and share news about these tiered memberships with your friends, your chat group, your juniors, seniors, and other people you think this membership would benefit. Okay, see you in the next tutorial video. Thank you for watching again.